welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor, Russ Stevens, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's the barber to the stars, Hollywood P. McGilvery. Well, we have another great show for you tonight. So, boys, let's get it started. Of course, we have to thank our wonderful sponsor, Pizzeria Dante, 415 Harvard Street in Brookline, Mass. He had the chicken?
The carbonara.
And you guys enjoyed that very much. And want to thank David and, of course, Dante. And that's our favorite restaurant in Brookline. Okay, boys, I don't like to ring my horn too much, just every week. Yeah. So, all right. So obviously, the Celtics are up 2-0 in the series. Yes. Okay. But let's go back to earlier time. Well, first of all, I want to mention, you guys don't believe me, but I'm looking for the tape. I predicted that the Patriots would play this during the middle of the season, that the Patriots would play the Eagles in the Super Bowl, and they would lose. The Patriots would lose. Okay, so I predicted that. All right, so this is why you watch your show.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a man who does not want to ring his horn too much.
But April 11th, boys, this is what I said about the Celtics, who are obviously down Kyrie and Gordon Hayward and Daniel Tice. And this is what I said.
A lot of fast talking.
You said that very fast.
Yeah. Jesus.
That looks like it.
All right. No. That's you guys sabotaging it. No, you cue that tape back up. I do speak very fast, exactly. And I was hyped up on coffee. No opioids, but coffee. No, you put that tape back on. I want the whole audience to see it, Todd, because this is what it's all about.
You made it last night.
No.
Let me tell you something. This is a desperate plea of a desperate man.
No, this is April 11th. No, this is what's happening in the show, and I'm not getting any credit for it. I'm telling you what's going to happen in the future.
What's that
you
movie?
Mean like when you said that they shouldn't draft Jaylen Brown? That was a stupid move. And Buddy Hield was the better draft pick.
Yeah, there he is saying that
again. We're not going to do it.
Yeah, this is a conspiracy.
Todd, thanks. Yeah, exactly.
It's a conspiracy.
All right,
you
when
will
you
never
figure
get
it
credit.
out, Todd, don't worry about it. Just
knock 3 times on the door.
We'll be all
set. 10-minute show.
Is this the surprise we're waiting for?
Yeah, surprise.
All right. Oh, my God. Okay, so, boys, we're up 2-0. And needless to say, I think the series is over, and we're going to the finals.
Very good chance. I think the likeliest thing to happen in Cleveland is still that the Celtics lose both games because we're just not very good on the road. If we win one, I agree. We're going to probably take this thing in 5.
Did you feel that way in the first half?
No, after the first quarter, we were down by 4. We were very happy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. After the first half, we were down by 7. We were in an absolutely good spot, right? Yeah. We knew there was going to be a push like the Cavaliers early on in the second game.
In the last 5 minutes of the first half, Cleveland could not stop the Celtics at all. They were just scoring at will. We didn't really whittle down the lead that much, just from 12 to 7. But they couldn't stop the Celtics. They were scoring every time. They couldn't get a stop.
I wasn't feeling too good with 8 minutes left, and there was 6 under the rim baskets that didn't go in. And it looked like they were getting pretty sloppy, and it looked like this isn't going to go well here.
But LeBron was hitting shots, Pete, in the crowd, with time running out. He wasn't hitting the normal LeBron offense. He wasn't getting fouled. Right. He wasn't, laying up. So I felt confident that second half.
We took their punch, and I think the reason why we took their punch is that I think legitimately we're a better team, meaning where if you look at the difference between last year's team that lost to them pretty badly and this year's team, we're much taller, much longer on the wings.
Balanced.
Much more balanced. We're not all dependent on, one very undersized point guard for our offense. Mm-hmm. And we're able to throw a bunch of bodies at these guys, and they clearly don't know what to do, to your point, about our defensive strategy.
Yeah, I liked when the thing was, during the game, who was the standout for the Celtics? Everybody had their time. Marcus had his time. Everybody had their time. Jaylen had their time. And then so when I see that type of balance, I have to look at coaching. Really.
Yeah, right. But it's weird because every game I think, okay, we could trade Jalen right now. All right, no, Tatum could go. You switch on and off, and that's the balance that we have. But right now, we always talk about the big three, and we need the big three to win a championship. But I would say that Al, Jalen, and Jason Tatum right now on this current roster,
this team right here and now,
constitutes a pretty damn good big three.
The way they're playing right now.
Yeah, but I mean, the other guy is a big part of this pie right now.
Al Horford.
No, Al, of course. Al Horford.
No, I said Al, Jalen,
and
you're
Terry
talking
Rozier.
I'm talking about Rozier, but
Yeah.
Al Horford has been worth all the money to me right now.
Right, but
I
mean,
wasn't saying that earlier.
No,
but I'm
you
talking
weren't,
about
yeah.
star power. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
consider Terry Rozier a
Yeah, but
star.
he's really been a big component.
He's been very good, and we talked about before the playoffs started how much of Kyrie Irving were we going to get out of Terry Rozier. We prayed for 80%, and I think at least we got 80%
Yeah.
now.
Well, Terry hits the uncontested shot almost every time. Kyrie hits the contested shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I think we're getting a legit 80%.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's good enough. But I agree. Tatum, what we've had, like last night, you take a look at last night, what happened. Brown kept us in it in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Tatum went off in the second quarter. Rozier got it going in the third quarter, and Al closed
Horford
it.
closed it out.
We had
yeah.
4 guys last night take
Right.
over
Great
And you
quarters.
throw Marcus in there for some big defensive
And then Marcus
plays.
was just all over the place the entire
And
game.
even, I'm going to say
was a
this,
good game for
even
him.
Baines was good last
No,
night.
Baines was good. Yeah, I don't
played
hate
great.
Baines. I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
I don't want him. No, I don't want him shooting 3-pointers. That's all I don't
That
want.
was, by the way, that was a dagger 3-pointer.
No,
last
it
night.
was.
That was a dagger, and that is the hardest 3-pointer in the court from the elbow.
like
It's
him,
a
man.
6-foot shot.
Is it possible that this guy could have discovered a 3-point shot this deep into his career? I mean,
Well,
it's kind of bizarre.
There's
Would
been
you
all
give
sorts
that to
of
me?
talk that guys who've been going, the beat reporters have been saying that for the last few months, all Baines does in warm-ups is take threes.
Right.
I think they unleashed it. I literally think they unleashed it in the playoffs.
He's got the range. All right, so boys, the Marcus Smart experience, and we have not spoken about the Celtics all year without mentioning Marcus Smart, right?
The good and the bad and the ugly.
And he was unbelievable last night. He was just Marcus Smart times 20.
His best game.
And with toughness. But I will give you this. So that play that J.R. Smith, that punk, who it's not going to end well for J.R. Smith
No.
post-NBA, right?
No.
That man is going to spend some time in the big house. Okay, but so he does that to J.R. Smith. Now, last year's team, who was going to come to Al's defense? Kelly Olynyk?
Well, Marcus Smart would have, but
But
other than Marcus Smart.
My argument is that Marcus Smart doesn't go even next year. Last year, to his defense, it's because he has Marcus Morris to back him up.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's where Marcus Morris is the most important player on that court when he's there, because he's the muscle. He's the difference from last year to this year. We didn't have any muscle. Thompson pushed us around all series.
Well, and I would throw Baines in there, because if you think about it, Baines is essentially the replacement for Olynyk, and there's no greater gap between big guys than Olynyk and Baines. But I agree. Morris brings a twist to this team that we haven't had in a long time.
So now you have to shine the light on Danny, don't you?
Oh my God, it's
100%.
unbelievable. And actually, as Celtics fans, we built up Avery Bradley in our heads and in the media as if with this wonderful superstar. The fact is that guy never played more than 40 games a year his whole career. We trade him for Marcus Morris. None of us knew.
No.
What Marcus
We
was
knew
he
his
the
brother.
twin?
Which brother was he?
Yeah, right, exactly. And what a steal. Another steal, right? I mean, Avery Bradley, he finished the season on injured reserve. And Marcus Morris is a key part of this team. And to me, he's the guy in the offense that can put up 25 that you didn't expect.
Right, because he's got no conscience when it comes to shooting the ball.
When he's on, he's on.
Yeah, and when he's off,
when
it's
he's
pretty
on, he's
bad.
terrible.
And Marcus, to me, in this series especially, what he has is he has moments, and they're big moments, Marcus, And I appreciate his play.
He's the guy that I think that maybe we could beat Golden State if Marcus Morris has some kind of lights out kind of series.
Let's cross that bridge when we.
Better than he really matches up well against LeBron. Because he can muscle LeBron.
I mean, he's 6'9", Marcus Morris is.
Look, the Cavaliers are going to tank the rest of the series because they know for sure. They know one thing. they don't have a shot against Golden State.
Well,
not one shot.
True.
They would get swept. They'd get destroyed by Golden State.
If they're going to come out hard, they got 3 full days, really almost 4 days to rest. LeBron's got 4 days. They're going to come out hard in Game 3, really hard. At home, they're going to play that game in there, and we'll see if we can take another punch. We're going to have to take another punch from
just play
LeBron.
the rope-a-dope, stay close.
And I think we can.
Look, if we're under 10, if we're behind by under 10 in the first half, the game's over. Series is over.
It's all about secondary players. Your secondary players.
Keeping it close. LeBron cannot score 100 points, boys.
No,
he just can't.
No, it looked like he was going for 60 last night. I
thought he was going to get 60.
Oh my God.
But we still would have won, right? Because you still have to score 110.
No. And the Celtics' depth just beat them. They have, the Celtics shouldn't be as deep as they are, missing their 2 best players right now. But they were far deeper than Cleveland. By the end of the half and at the end of the game, Cleveland just couldn't compete.
They had nothing
left. And the Celtics were executing, and they were giving them the 2 points underneath the basket. Don't foul them. Give them the 2. Let's go.
Yeah. We heard a lot of ESPN blabber about the deal of the deadline when Cleveland got Rodney Hood, George Hill, Jordan Clarkson, and one other
Larry Nance Jr.
And Larry Nance Jr. How you can just give them the Eastern Conference.
And remember that
title.
in that first game that they played together, they came out and they whooped us.
Right.
They whooped us.
Right.
And everyone was like, oh, my God, they've just found the keys to the kingdom. I don't think so. I don't think the keys fit the lock. This thing just did not fit together very well.
There was a reporter after Game 1 who was asking Lou, and I thought this was pretty brazen by the reporter, are you really going to play Rodney Hood moving forward based on what he's done? And he's like, kind of, I guess. Yeah. And we're talking about stiffs and guys who don't even want to be there.
Someone suggested, someone who had a lot of foresight suggested after that trade that while it looks good in the first few games, just wait until LeBron loses trust in these guys just like he loses trust in most of his teammates. And that's exactly what's happened. It's clear he has no trust or faith in these guys. And you can see him out on the court like, I'm going to have to do this myself because the only other guy out here I trust is Love and maybe Korver.
Well, they know their fearless leader, LeBron, is probably going to be playing somewhere else.
Such a great point.
Yeah, but he had
a great point, Joe. Yeah,
they
absolutely.
had Korver going, and they had Love going to a degree, but they still couldn't overtake the Celtics.
Well, Pete, look, they played. When we played Milwaukee, we had to face Giannis and to face Middleton. When we played the Sixers, we had Embiid, Redick, and Simmons. We got to learn a lot about how to defend a lot of great players who have variety of skills, okay? Mm-hmm. Who did they have to defend? Toronto didn't even show up for the first series.
DeMar DeRozan, they benched him.
Yeah. The only person they had to defend who's special is Oladipo in the first series. Yeah. Okay, he has a special skill. So now all of a sudden, everybody can go, Stevens go back, okay, this is how we did Giannis. Yeah. Okay, so now that's how we
it's a great point. They built a muscle memory in those first 2 series that carried over into this series, and I think they're not overwhelmed by the moment in having to guard LeBron.
Yeah. The Celtics, as young as they are, they're learning about themselves.
Yeah, and Korver ain't Redick, right? And I have to be honest with you, Love ain't Middleton. You know what I mean? No. And said all of a sudden those guys do not scare them defensively.
I think it's a great point.
Yeah. All right, I made a great point. Well, that's
all right, we are ringing your horn tonight.
No, I wish we were. You can again, Todd. You can put that tape on anytime if you can get it on normal speed instead of 78.
I think the tape doesn't really exist. That's just a lot of blabbity.
All right, so I gotta rip a little bit. Rick Grossbeck, I actually used to like Rick Grossbeck. When he first came here as the owner of the Celtics, I thought he tried, despite being a billionaire, he tried to be humble and lovable. Okay, so then he gets rid of he turns in the new first wife. He gets rid of her, okay? Yeah. And then all of a sudden, he gets the new and improved one, apparently. And next thing you know, he's talking trash at the Paul Pierce ceremony, boring the hell out of everyone. And then this week, he kind of suggests, despite what Russ says, that he played a key role in the acquisition of the 4 picks for the Brooklyn deal.
When you own the team, you get to monopolize the microphone. Simple as that. That's why you buy the team.
But my question to you boys, our biggest question this offseason for the Patriots has been, what role has Bob Kraft played in the trading of one Jimmy G? Okay, yeah. is this going to be the same kind of problem with Wick, where all of a sudden that Wick's making some decisions for Danny?
You're blaming Wick for stuff he hasn't done yet. Has Wick?
Not a shred of evidence for
has
this.
Has Wick? No.
I think it's just you're planning to get Jimmy G into the conversation.
Look, you can see stuff. You read the tea leaves, boys.
There's been no
when I'm reading.
Don't let the facts obscure.
And the freaking Todd would put the tape on correctly, and you'd realize that I have a special skill set. I see the future.
Even without the hat.
My God, he's handsome and all, but for God's sake.
No, there's no. He didn't say that. Wick did. I listened to the interview, and Wick was just like, "Yeah, Danny came back to me. He said I got 2 draft picks," and Wick said, "Well, what if we ask for a 3rd?" And Danny's like, "All right, I'll go ask for a 3rd." And Danny came back, "I got a 3rd," and Wick says, "Well, let's ask for a 4th." And Danny says, "I don't think they're going to do the deal. It's going to blow up the deal."
Doesn't that sound like he's putting himself on a little level?
As long as you're not asking, yeah.
You watch that. That's all I'm saying.
You've got your eye on Wick.
Keep the tape.
You've got your eye on Wick.
All right. Well, boys, I predict many things, and I'm very good at prediction of injuries. And I've been very accurate at that. I have a feeling.
Do we have the tape?
I have a feeling that the Celtics are going to win.
Well, Dominic Easley was an easy one.
The Celtics are going to win the NBA Finals. And the reason is that Kevin Durant's going to get injured.
Really?
Yeah.
You just put the voodoo hex on
Kevin
Durant. What is wrong with you?
And again, I don't want to be sacrilegious for those people who think that I'm wishing bad upon another one. Yeah. Because I'm not asking the man.
It's just something that you see.
No, exactly. First of all, and look at the burden. It's obviously a burden that I have. I carry on me.
Will the young Kevin Durant be the cause of this?
No. This is during the series, but I'm not asking again for him to be an invalid or anything. I just, a very.
The ankle?
No, he can have a broken ankle.
So you think the Celtics could beat the Warriors if Durant didn't play?
That's my point. Would the Celtics beat the Warriors if Kevin Durant was not on that team?
I'd certainly like the chances.
He's the best player. He's definitely the best player on that team. The Warriors were really, really, really good before Durant joined us. Joined them. Remember, they won a whole ton of games. We broke that winning streak. So, that'd be a hell of a series.
And they had won an NBA championship without him.
Yeah, they did. I don't think we have an answer for him. But we have an answer for the rest of the guys if he's not there.
Well, sure sucks because Kyrie and Hayward are out of our team.
Yeah, so we should actually petition the NBA if we do make it to the finals. Like, come on, just take one of their guys out.
Yeah. Your 2 best players.
We'll take Curry and Green out.
Just one. I just take one of them out.
Right.
So my question to you with the Celtics going forward, everybody's talking about what the Celtics need to get, what they need to go out and get. But they already have 2 guys that are going to come next year.
Yeah, Pete. I think the Celtics need
it's
absolutely
more
nothing.
Of a subtraction thing.
Just complementary pieces.
Just run it back.
Forward.
Yeah, Baines is a free agent. Monroe's a free agent. So you got to figure out, you're going to need a backup big.
Will Rozier be here?
Yeah. You could trade Rozier, but he's under contract.
Yeah, but they're not trading Rozier.
They still have him for another year.
Look, because if Rozier can win you a title next year, and he bolts after that, then you're happy. Anyways.
I think with Kyrie's knee being iffy, you at least hang on to Rozier through next year's trade deadline. The question will be, will Rozier be happy playing 20 minutes a game?
After what he's done.
That's the hard part.
The other question
is, Brad's problem.
Do you see him cycling up, or is now the time, while his value is at its ceiling? Right?
I think what we talked about last week is Terry Rozier just excelling as a starter. Does this guy need to be a starter in the NBA to truly fulfill his his potential? And
it's the biggest question that Danny has this offseason. Really, is Smart and or Rozier.
The 2 backup. The backup backcourt.
That's really it.
Well, he can wait on Rozier. I mean, he has the priorities.
Yeah.
Whether he wants to sign, Smart and what kind of ramifications in the salary cap.
So prediction is for the Celtics this series.
I think another gentleman's sweep, just like Philly, 5 games.
I like 5 too.
I think it's Celtics in 7.
Okay.
Wow.
I can buy that.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's Celtics in 7.
I feel like there's a knock-up. I feel like the Cavs are. Look. I can't even tell you who else played for them besides the 3 Curver, LeBron. You know,
in love.
They didn't even show up, those complimentary guys. They weren't complimentary.
The scary thing is they could use phony baloney Jay Crowder right now.
They sure
It
could.
would actually solidify that team right now, even though he's the phony tough guy of all time. Okay, somebody's in trouble in the Celtics. Here's Jay running the other way. So I just hate Jay Crowder. Okay. All right, I need to get that out. Wait, can you get the tape? Todd, do you have the tape in normal speed before I move on to the Red Sox? There he is. No, you don't.
This is the best joke of all time.
No, we don't.
Todd, my check will be in the mail next week.
Yeah, all right, we tried. Yeah, I know. I guess we'll get it for next week. All right, boys.
I'm sure that tape says what you think it says.
I have listened to the tape.
I'm sure it does.
All right. It's like Watergate. All right.
Wait, what's the tape about again?
Well, you'll just have to see. I predicted that the Celtics would go to the NBA Finals.
I believe you.
Oh, yeah, but
April 11th.
What was this, 2007?
No.
Yeah, it was a week and a half ago.
No, it wasn't. It was a month ago. All right. We have spoken on this show because we are the show of Boston. We have spoken many times the last few weeks what complete morons the Red Sox have as players.
Yes.
Okay. So there's just such a long list of millennial morons. Our newest one this week is Carson Smith.
Oh, my God.
One Carson Smith who threw like 2 pitches last year and got injured, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And this year he actually was fairly productive, right? We're actually getting something for our dollar, and he gives up a homer, goes to the dugout, throws his glove, and tears up his shoulder.
Yeah.
Let's give it up for Carson
And even
Smith.
worse.
Hey,
And by the way,
Carson.
even
He says,
worse.
I don't know what the big deal is. I do it all the
Tyler
time.
Thornburg's
Well, no,
through
what's
about
even worse about it is then today he's been saying that it was actually fatigue and misuse of him in the bullpen that led to the injury. And Cora came right out and said, no one's buying that. So there's he's
shooting his way
openly
out of town.
Oh yeah, he's shooting his way out of town because he
What?
knows he's seriously injured. He's done.
What makes him so empowered to do that? Is
Well,
it disrespect for Cora, or is it something, or is it another theory I have?
I think
the
it's
David Price factor.
David, well, let me get mine out before you go.
Yes.
I think it's a combination of this guy knew it just basically may have blown his career because apparently it's a pretty serious injury. He knows he's done with this franchise and he just wants to place blame anywhere but himself because he's a millennial.
Right.
No
How
offense
many
to
innings
all
does he
our
even
millennial
have on
fans.
this team?
Right.
But all right, so
Now let
But
the
now,
volcano
yours is more
explode.
interesting than mine.
David Price is soiling that clubhouse, okay, right? And we realized that because Alex Cora threw David Price right under the
Yes, he
bus
did.
last week.
Yeah.
Right? He
So
didn't
he
have
was
to do
having
that at
none
all.
of it.
Okay, so he's having none of that. Cora's trying to gain back your point. At the very least, not the whole clubhouse, but the pitchers. As we know, the pitchers and the positional players are 2 separate parts of the clubhouse. Okay? So Price, he's just running his mouth to all the pitchers. He never likes anyone. He didn't like Farrell, and he doesn't like Cora anymore. Oh, he sure doesn't, right? So that was David getting into Carson's ear, and next thing you know, Carson Smith saying crap like that. Come on.
Yeah, what does he have to stand on?
He's got nothing to stand on. It's ridiculous.
And Stephen Wright's a disciple.
And then we got.
Oh no, we have the idiot brigade. Our pitching staff is just full of morons.
How about Tyler Thornburg?
Except for one.
Yeah, right.
Can't even read.
He's above it
Let's
all.
talk Stephen Wright, who was so proud this offseason when he was getting arrested for domestic violence to share it with the world that he didn't hit his wife.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Thanks, you.
Yeah.
Thanks, you. Thank you,
Price,
Stephen.
Wright, Thornburg, and
Now,
Smith.
Thornburg.
The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse that's what that is.
Right, Tyler Thornburg, who we traded half of our team for, right? Who still, Governor Michael Dukakis is still pissed off about it. Right?
That's right. Yeah, when you've pissed off the Duke, you know you've done wrong.
Exactly. He was more pissed off that Thornburg was acquired for Travis Shaw than that Donald Trump was president of the United States.
Truly.
But, so all of a sudden, Thornburg, who's in Pawtucket, he has they try to pitch him 2 days in a row. And you don't do that for Carson Smith, and you don't do that for Tyler Thornburg, because apparently it's like throwing like 70 miles an hour his second time on.
Yeah.
So he's useless. So I ask you boys, is it imploding?
The pitching staff seems to be imploding a little bit. We haven't had a good day on the pitching staff for about 4 days. There's been some off-season news for like the
Sale
past
went
5
9.
days.
Right.
Well, go wake up the pitching coach and have him go do something about it.
Yeah, but this thing goes beyond the pitch. This is like weird off-field behavior stuff, all of it, right?
But is it Alex? I feel like Alex Cora is, first of all, forgetting about whether he's lost a clubhouse or not, is not a good game manager. There's a lot of small.
He's got a lot
details.
Remember, he's got a lot of learning to do. I
Yeah.
mean, we knew there was going to be a learning curve with this guy.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good record. I mean,
do you feel like this is a phony record? Do you feel like that they're not? I mean, obviously 28-14.
They got off to they went 17-2, and I think they're 11-12 since. So I mean, they're not as good. My guess is they're not as good as they were when they went on that run, and they're not as mediocre as they are right now. They're probably somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, and then so we're done with the pitching staff and about the morons, and then we get to the positional players, and we say this week after week. There's no one stupider in the major leagues than Andrew Benintendi.
He can't do anything right.
No, right, exactly.
It's getting to be a bit of a pattern.
He can't even stand on a base.
So what do you do with a guy? Because obviously, like you said, he reminds you of Yaz at times. The guy has, he's only a second-year player. Yeah. He has great potential. But literally, he's doing things
do you want to know what you really do? And this is what would have happened back in the day. You send him down to Pawtucket for about 2 weeks. And you say, you know what? You need to go down to Pawtucket and play where play mistake-free baseball for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But they need him.
I know, but
that's
you know what,
problem.
though?
My thing is, how do you get to this?
Saying, because
you can option him down there.
He thinks he's the king.
You send him down there.
I understand all that, but my point is, how do you get this far making those type of mistakes consistently? How do you get to the major leagues without knowing how to run bases?
Yeah. I think that they remember a lot of these guys they've been very aggressive at promoting guys from the farm system over the last 5 years. Yeah. And they've said, I guess they've said, look, we'll take the fact that they're going to have a learning curve when they get to the majors. We're going through it with Devers at third base.
Yeah, they rushed Benintendi too.
They got Betts up, they got Benintendi up. Moncada was a disaster. They had to trade him. Right? Yep. Bogarts worked out.
Right. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, but he did.
Mr. April.
He didn't have like fundamental baseball problems.
Right. No, exactly.
But these guys are being brought up very quick, and Benintendi, I would seriously consider sending him down to the farm for 2 weeks and say, work it out down there because you're damaging the club up here.
He dogged a ball on Monday night when he was playing center field that cost them a game. And
the base running error last night cost them the game again.
Yeah, but Cora recognizes that, and he has to address that.
But Pete,
Dombrowski sends him down.
With the current millennial athlete, normally like a Dick Williams type, he wouldn't have replaced him right then. You could have replaced him right then during the inning. But at the very least, when Benintendi comes running in, that he's sitting down for dogging it, right?
Yeah,
but can you do that to a millennial athlete? Or do you lose him? That's my point. Do you lose him if you do that?
Does he shut down on you?
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I don't know what's worse.
That screamed
letting
it.
A guy. I don't know what's worse. Letting a kid keep making the same mistake over and over again, and he doesn't seem to get any better at it.
Yeah. See, the problem is, it's a great point about putting Benintendi down, but you got JBJ, and you don't know what to do with him.
He makes a good point. Who are you going to replace him with? We already got a center fielder who's not performing.
Right.
Well, don't forget we've got Swihart.
He's trying to get Brock Holt in.
He's just looking for Brock.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I know you're right. Oh no, please don't tell me you want.
Don't use this.
Don't tell me you want Brock in the outfield. But yes, the guy I do like Blake Swihart, Mr. Potential. I think it's time for him to go. Yeah.
I think they've, to another degree, they've tinkered with him so much he doesn't know what he's coming and going.
Yeah,
well, he wants to go now.
Well, yeah, his agent requested a trade as if he has any trade value.
He hasn't really had much of a play because they got him a catcher, they got him a third, they got him at first, they got him in the outfield.
No, it's a difficult situation, but I would keep him now.
You say, Blake, be good at something, and they'll keep you there.
Exactly.
I got a last question for you. Wild card is just something for you to think about until next week's show. Is Terry Rozier the Jimmy G of the Celtics?
No, he's not. Nobody's the Jimmy G of anything.
He's not that handsome.
Look, Jimmy G's going. Look, Terry Rozier is not going to get 6 NBA titles like Jimmy G is.
Oh.
Just so you know, right there.
Save that tape.
If that means anything. Well, that's our show for today. I want to thank the boys. I want to thank everyone behind the scenes. Of course, the lovely and talented Adrian and handsome Todd.
We want to thank handsome Todd.
Yeah, thanks, handsome Todd.
Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Wednesday night at 6:30 for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.
No.
Scott Kerman, have a great and happy night. The elephants are in town.
Here comes the circus.